Hi, it's video diary time again, and we're supposed to make an entry about the 3 different subfields of chemical engineering that we discussed in the past 3 meetings. That's biochemical engineering, environmental engineering, and materials engineering, respectively. For the first topic, we have biochemical engineering. What I remember was that it's mostly innovative in nature. They try to take advantage of the cell. They try to make systems that are like the cell. They do this by using the cells themselves to create materials like bioethanol or biofuels in general. Another example would be like the production of penicillin, where you try to induce the formation of penicillin in bacteria. It's really interesting. In environmental engineering, it's all about waste management and how industrial processes or human processes in general can be optimized so that we have minimal impact in the environment. And I think personally it's a very timely subfield because really the 21st century is all about preserving the environment and going the extra mile to help save the environment. Lastly, we have materials engineering. The materials engineering was actually very interesting because it was mostly, I think, on innovation again, but in this case you're trying to create different materials to use. We have plastics or rubber, I'm thinking linoleum, fiberglass, stuff like that. You create all these different materials that we can use so that we can construct different things that we can use in our everyday lives. You have to keep in mind that structure has a big effect on functionality, and that the chemical engineer is in charge of determining the pertinent processes that will create the desired structures that will in turn affect the characteristics and the properties of the material that we're trying to use. So if I were to choose among the 3, it would be a tie between biochemical engineering and materials engineering, maybe leaning more towards materials engineering because it focuses on innovation and I'm really interested in research and development. So there. That's odd because for my past video diary entries, I've mostly been saying that environmental engineering is among my top 3 subfields of choice. But the discussion on environmental engineering was a little bit discouraging, especially since we were made to realize that to execute the proper methods effectively, it would take collective efforts not only of chemical engineers but with everyone involved, including the consumer, including the government. Everyone has to cooperate, and that's really hard to do. So it's probably not my type anymore. If I were to choose again, I'm going to choose a mix between biochemical engineering and materials engineering, wherein we try to make materials from biological sources. Yes, I've heard about extracting ethanol and other biofuels from cells, and if we can use that to synthesize different types of plastics maybe, then I think it would be a more sustainable way of creating that material. And I think there are also effects on the biodegradability of the material. So if we innovate this, then it would still have an environmental impact, in which I'm after. That's the reason why I wanted environmental engineering in the first place, to have an environmental impact. I guess if I can attain that goal by taking part in a mix of materials engineering and biochemical engineering, then why not? Because again, environmental engineering is frustrating and disappointing and discouraging. So there. I really like the biochemical engineering lecture because we were made to feel like an engineer solving the material balance problems and all that. The environmental engineering lecture was discouraging. I've said that before. The materials engineering was also interesting. I never really thought about it. In conclusion, for me, environmental engineering went down my list, my ranks, but materials engineering and biochemical engineering went up. I'm going to wait for the other discussions in the other types of chemical engineering studies before I decide on where exactly I'm interested in. I'm particularly looking forward to the discussion on energy engineering. So let's just see what happens. Bye!